According to its subtitle, it's a funny book about horrible things. Furiously Happy is Jenny Lawson's follow-up to her bestseller, Let's Pretend This Never Happened. And it focuses on some not-so-funny topics, such as clinical depression, panic attacks, and Lawson's struggle to not get pulled down into darkness. And did we mention the stuffed, formerly live raccoon on the cover? More on him coming up. Jenny Lawson joins us in studio. This is the front of the book. And we know one thing for certain. You're not going to see another book with a stuffed taxidermied, whatever it is, on the front raccoon. But it's Rory. This is Rory.
That's Rory. That's Rory the raccoon, and he rides around on the back of my cats in the midnight raccoon rodeo when I can't sleep.
What?
And, yeah, it's fantastic.
He's there.
Yeah, that's the real. There's actually several Rorys.
It's just, yeah, there's been a couple.
There have been several, because the first Rory actually lost his fingers and an arm in a roller coaster accident in Vegas, which was weird. And I guess proves the old adage of what happens in Vegas is what you happen to leave in Vegas, because when he came back, he was missing those things. But my father is a taxidermist, and so he was able to kind of, repair him. And it was interesting because when we were looking for, what are we going to put on the cover of this book, that was my first thought, was this raccoon is furiously happy. He's been broken,
yeah.
He's lost an arm, he's gone through so much, and yet he is still furiously happy, and that's really what the whole topic
and
of
that's emblematic, because when we mention, you talk about some tough stuff, but if there's, through it all, there's humor. Tell me, when you're deciding to write about, mental issues, how far do you go in terms of putting yourself out there and that, that worry, but also putting it in context?
I was very concerned about the fact that I had never completely talked about all of the issues that I had. I talked about anxiety and depression,
yeah.
And I think people are a little more comfortable with that. But I also talked about avoidant personality disorder. And one of the things I talked about is trichotillomania, which is like hair pulling. And I'm always so shocked because it's one of those things where you sort of think, oh, I'm the only person who does this, who compulsively pulls out their hair. And at every reading, someone would come up and say, I thought I was the only one. And it's so shocking and also wonderful to sort of bring people together and say, oh, that shame that you feel is okay. And the great thing is I tried to balance so that it was also really funny, so that people who don't have to deal with mental illness would still want to be able to read it. And what's so rewarding is so often people will come and say, I don't know anything about mental illness, but your book was hysterical, and I got kicked off of a plane laughing at it. And that's really what I wanted, was I wanted both of those worlds, because for some reason, if you laugh at something that is scary and terrifying, it becomes this smaller monster that you can deal with.
And then and I guess that's part and parcel of how how you come up with Furiously Happy.
Yes.
There's an oxymoron like that.
Well, Furiously Happy came about because I was in the middle of a depression. I was dealing with some really horrible things, and I lost 2 friends, and I was angry.
Yeah.
I was so mad, and it was the only emotion that I had left, because when I have depression, my emotions are just gone. I'm not sad, I don't cry, I'm just emotionless, is my sort of depression. And so I decided right then and there that as soon as I was out of this depression, I would do everything that I could to be happy in spite of myself, to do the most ridiculous things, the most bizarre things, the craziest things that would make me happy, not as a way to fix mental illness, and I want to make sure that people understand that, because a lot of times people might look at the cover and be like, oh, you just decided to be happy and that's how you fix depression, and it's not. Not at all. It's more about enjoying those times when you're out of the hole, so that you can take those moments back with you as tools to remind you that depression does lie, that it is going to get better, that you are worthwhile.
Thank you so much for sharing the book with us this morning. Great to see you.
Sure, thank you so much.
You'll find Furiously Happy on our iBooks page. Head to itunes.com/CanadaAM.